Hello everyone, hello YouTube, this is Felipe, o Gato de Salto, and today I'm here with another amazing video for you about the Malandros. Today we'll be talking about the Loitering Law or Lei da Vadiagem. Welcome back to my channel, my lovely viewer. I hope you're doing very well and very fine and everything is perfect. As you know, I'm doing this series on Malandro and I'm going to share everything that I know and came across and learned in the past years about the Malandros. So if you are interested in Malandros, Malandro styles, the Samba world and everything else related to Samba and Carnival, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, leave a like, comment and share with all your friends that are also interested in this topic. Last time we talked about what the Malandros represent. What is the image of Malandros in the Brazilian society and within Carnival? And today we are going to talk about a very specific, if not the most important reason why the Malandros happen to be. Today we'll be talking about the Loitering Law, a Lei da Vadiagem. The Loitering Law, Lei da Vadiagem, it's actually in the Brazilian Penal Code since 1942. But there was a previous law called Lei da Capoeiragem, so Capoeira law, that was already there before, since the 1890s. And what it did is this law basically prohibited people from loitering and the one before from playing capoeira or any kind of cultural manifestation that had to do with the Afro-Brazilian population of the time, so the ex-slaves that had just been freed. All these people had with them cultural elements that they've learned from their grandparents or even perhaps brought with them to the new world, to Brazil, and were not allowed to express and practice in Brazil in those times. This law stopped Afro-Brazilian people from gathering, from playing music, from playing capoeira, from doing their religion's rituals. It stopped them from so many cultural important things. But in its core, this law actually means that anyone without an occupation that is socially acceptable, can be punished by law. A Lei da Vadiagem actually came out right after the Lei Áurea, which was the law that forbade slavery in Brazil, that made it illegal in the 1890s. And then the Lei da Vadiagem, so the Loitering Law, would actually punish anyone who would be out and about on the street without being able to prove that he or her was working. And carrying a musical instrument like a pandeiro or a tambourine was actually proof that that person was loitering, was committing the crime of vadiagem. And that person could be taken up to the police station and even be arrested for 30 days. And even up to today, in the Museum of Police in Rio, you can still see confiscated samba instruments from that time. So if you don't have a work, if you don't have a job, and you're just at the main square the whole day, playing samba, playing a batucada, or you're just sitting on the street or having a beer with your friends, this could actually mean that you are breaking the law, especially back then, when the police was also very corrupt. What am I saying? The police in Brazil is still very corrupt, up to this day. But back then, let's just say, since it was older times, there was not that much of fiscalization or controlling, people would have to rely on the word of honor of a general, a captain, a police officer. Sometimes were trustworthy, but sometimes were not, especially if they have personal problems with someone specific. Let's say they had a quarrel, this kind of stuff and conflict happened, and police officers, for being police officers, they had more power. So they would go after and persecute people who were in inferior to them socially speaking, especially Black people and people of color, so the people who eventually turned out to be malandros, to have to look for themselves and what they represent. So facing the forces of institutional oppression, the individual malandro survives by manipulating people or by sidestepping the laws and bending the rules. If you look at it from the perspective of the elite, oh my gosh, they are truly committed to destroying the beautiful Brazil that we are trying to build here in Rio de Janeiro. However, they had to be like this because the law would also exclude them. There was no other way for them to survive. Everything was forbidden for these people. They were an anti-hero for the Brazilian society, if you will, because the elite would look down at them, those who would threaten the peace that the Brazilian elite was trying to have and enjoy, you know, in their balls and gowns, just like Europe. But in a way, for the people, for the folk, these malandros, they became a hero, a national popular hero. So the malandro has this duality. He is the anti-hero, but is also the hero. It's a bit like, let's compare it to Robin Hood, you know, who'd steal from the rich to give to the poor. The malandro has this quality. And if you watched my video about the history of the Samba Part 3, Samba and Fascism, you probably remember when I talked about the rule of Getúlio Vargas. He was a military person, so he was kind of our military dictator. This law was very active, especially during his time. This Loitering Law was to protect the Brazilian elite of any attacks on good manners. So capoeira, samba, gambling, prostitution, begging. And there's even a pagode, a nice song that reflects a lot from this time in its lyrics. The song is called Delegado, Chico, Palha. And this samba really represents, in my opinion, or paints a vivid image of how the police would behave at that time. Delegado Chico Palha, sem alma, sem coração, soulless, heartless. Não quer samba nem corimba na sua jurisdição. He doesn't want samba or corimba in his jurisdiction. Ele não prendia, só batia. He didn't arrest, just beat. Os malandros da Portela, the malandros from Portela, da Serrinha e da Congonha. From those two places, Serrinha and Congonha. Para eles eram vagabundos e as mulheres sem vergonha. So for him, those were vagabonds and also the shameless women. Ele não prendia, só batia. He didn't arrest, he would just beat them. And then there's a nice turn in the song where he sings A corimba ganhou o terreiro. So the corimba went to the terreiro. Check my candomblé and umbanda videos to know what that is. O samba ganhou escola. So samba got us into the schools or got a school. Ele foi expulso da polícia e vivia pedindo esmola. He was expelled from the police forces and forced to beg for money. So I think even this song within the actual modern arts, which is Zeca Pagodinho style, represents a lot of that era. And the more we talk about the malandros, the celebrity malandros, legendary malandros, the more you will understand about that time and how it was to be alive in a time where all of this was forbidden, and the necessity to have the malandros around. Now we're going to talk about why we needed malandros at that time and what they did and who they were in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I can't wait to be back here talking to you about our amazing samba worlds, in this case, the malandros. Bye!